All right. Awesome. Hello, all, for everyone watching. This is Michael Bourne on the Michael Bourne live stream. I'm here with Gavin Pickin. I think that CFML or ColdFusion is one of the best platforms for web development today. So thank you for watching, and we're live.
Yep. Hello, hello. And this time I don't just harass you
Yeah.
from the comments. I'll
Oh
harass you
no,
on the video.
no, you're actually here. So should start seeing the video come up here, but let me pull open my VS Code, and Gavin, I'm gonna have you walk me through how you think we should do this. I might argue with you a little bit, but mostly I'm gonna follow your expertise, right? So
Yeah, we'll see how much expertise I show. But
sure.
but yeah, I mean, so just for everyone who hasn't listened to the podcast, we do a CFML news podcast, and on there we decided to sort of put these coding challenges in. And Code Wars is a great site which does code katas and little tests and everything. And we thought it'd be nice if we could do something like that. And since Code Wars is no longer or not currently supporting CFML Code Wars, we thought we'd harass them with some emails and some tweets about it. But in the meantime, we thought we'd build like a little app that you can download and sort of do your own little coding challenge and do it in a similar style. So that's what we thought we'd try and do today. And we may not get very far. We'll see. We got our setup done, so we're running a little bit late here. But this way you can see both us and see Michael's screen. So yeah, so what I was thinking is setting up like a Coldbox app, and inside there, set up test box to run some tests. And as we release new challenges, we'll basically release a new test file, and then you have to create the appropriate CFC with a function that meets some requirements. And when you run the test, it tests that your function you created exists, and it does what it's supposed to do. And the test will, test edge cases and everything. And if you get all the tests to pass, then you've passed the coding challenge. As long as you don't delete all the tests out of the test, that's cheating. But
That's one way to do it.
yeah, so I got the idea from things like Code Wars and everything, but there's actually a thing called a Cohen. It's Koan, and it got popular from the Ruby Cohens a long time ago, and then JavaScript Cohens. There's actually such a thing as ColdFusion Cohens as well. So if you search ColdFusion Cohens, Co08, yep, you'll see here. Yeah, use that one. It's a little better. But so what it is it's actually running on MX Unit, way back before Testbox was even born, back in 2012, 2013. A few guys who are no longer in the in this world of ColdFusion anymore. They built the Cohens for ColdFusion. So it's
Nice.
an interesting approach where basically you have a bunch of tests that fail, and what you have to do is try and figure out how to make the test pass by changing the code. And so a lot of it is, just simple little things. And, if you go into Cohen's there and go to the array one, so about arrays, you'll see some of the examples in here. So you've got a getting array length. So the test, for this test to pass, you have to assert this underscore underscore. You need to change that to put the assert equals and basically figure out what the array length would be. So in this first one, you'd change the underscore underscore to a 3 for the array length function. It should return a 3. So this is old school MX Unit. It's not BDD testing. It's really ugly and I hate it. I don't like it. But that's kind of like the original way to do things. And if you want to do some JavaScript colons, you can do it while online. So anyway, that's sort of the basics of it, but let's do it better. Let's not write it inside the function here, not inside the test. Let's
Gotcha.
build a CFC. Let's use Wirebox to inject it. And if we build it properly, someone can get an idea of how Coldbox apps work with none of the overhead, none of the scariness.
Perfect. So I'm thinking we're going to start by pulling open command box and
Yep.
browse into that new folder I just created. I called it CF Wars. I don't know what you want to call it, Gavin.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, CFML code challenge or something is, equivalent of what I was thinking, but
Okay.
yeah, something like that. And just to make this interesting too, I like the Spanish flavor of everything.
Yes. For those watching, Gavin and I had quite a time setting up my OBS. I just installed OBS on my machine and on my other machine, and it's actually all in Spanish. So I'm just trying to learn Espanol, just to keep things interesting. I don't know what's. Oh, there we go. So okay, command box is loaded. Wasn't seeing it there. So let me cd into my server directory. I'm gonna want to open source. And let me just. I created a CF Wars folder, but let me just move
That's fine.
that.
I can use that. Not
Okay.
a big deal.
All right. Okay.
Nice and short.
Okay, so this is very empty. We're gonna create a skeleton, pull down a skeleton Coldbox app.
Yeah, let's just do Coldbox create app, and then we'll just call it CF Wars, I guess. That's fine.
Okay.
And so what this is doing, it's pulling down the CB template for advanced script from ForgeBox. So it has quite a few goodies in there. It already has Coldbox and Testbox for us, which is neat. So that'll save us a step.
Mm-hmm.
And so without too much work, it already includes .env and CFconfig as well. So that's pretty
nice.
cool. One thing about this, though, we want to keep it pretty simple. So as long as you have command box, you'll be able to pull down the app and get it running. We're not going to be connecting to databases or anything else. You don't have to have anything else running on your machine. If you have command box, you could start it, and that should be enough to get moving. We want to make it as simple as we can, as easy as we can to get moving.
Yeah, so this should give us a full folder with our models directory and maybe a handlers directory, some config set up for Coldbox, and we'll have everything installed basically to run our Coldbox app without doing any work.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and you can see it all. You can see it all in there already. So that's cool.
This template does include everything that you might want to add. So it's got a folder for interceptors. It's got a folders for layouts and models. It's got a folder for modules, which is where ForgeBox puts its ForgeBox controlled modules. Modules app is the folder where you put your modules that you're going to put in source control.
Anything that's Git tracked, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And so you'll see there's a CFconfig file there, so you could add any caching settings or your CF engine settings that you want to have included. It's got CF format in there, so you can format your code using the settings that we like at Ortus. It's got a CF lint, so if you use CF lint, you can lint your code as well. So it's got a lot of great things. It's a good starting point. So I thought it'd be perfect one for us to use.
Very nice. I usually use the skeleton one just because, I don't know, it looks like a lot of stuff to me, but honestly, I end up adding most of this back in if I use the skeleton app. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
There's not too much.
I like to do things where I delete as much as possible and see what it can still run with. I do that with a lot of things just to see what's the minimum requirement. But
well, that's cool.
But yeah, so now we have that. What we want to do is we want to just spin up the server. So you want to start up the server and we'll see what it gave us.
Okay, sure.
Is it still running?
I'm not sure. I feel like closing it, and I'm not sure I should. Looks like it hung up on me. Yeah, could be my network connection because I'm streaming and everything else here. Okay. Yeah. So we had some issues installing that. I wonder if it dropped the connection. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looked like it died in the middle of the command box CFconfig.
So should I just install this manually?
Well, that was easy.
Can I activate? Register the module first.
Do it. Install CF command box CFconfig space -- force, and that should remove it and then re-add it.
Is that like dforce?
Yeah, you want to brute force it.
Oh, no, I was thinking Star Wars.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's dforce.
doesn't seem to like us right here.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Well, nothing can go wrong as much as when you're doing live coding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I really need to be actually plugged in to Ethernet, and that was one thing I haven't done. I moved recently, so it's a little bit of everything's in an uproar a little bit. So trying to get everything straightened out, pull out my Ethernet cable and plug it in. Fun stuff.
It looks like it got to the same spot it did last time too. Strange.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you do stop it, we can probably just kill that module. Go from there.
Well, it's not hearing my interrupt signal. I'm hitting Control C. Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, well, you may need to pull open your command box folder and your command box CFML system services.
Try to drop that system services. Am I going to try to drop that folder? Let me try that. CFML system services.
You probably don't want that one. You probably want to go up a couple of directories and then we'll remove the module. So.
Gotcha. Okay. CD into modules. I'm looking for command box cf config rmdir rm-r. I don't know how this works.
We can do an uninstall. We could do a package uninstall and then command box dash cfconfig space dash dash system.
Install.
That should remove it from the system. There we go.
Yep.
So let's go back to the other folder. We'll just leave that out of there and we'll try and start the server up and we'll see if it can run as is. Obviously there's something going on with your downloads there.
Yeah, server start. Let's see what happens. Building from local jars, so that's nice.
Yep. So if it all goes well, we should get a little Coldbox sample site pop up.
We'll see, right?
Yep.
The best part in web development is when you're waiting for the server to start and you can go get a cup of water or something.
And so once it does start, what we'll do is we'll look at the tests folder, see what it's actually doing, make sure the tests all run and pass, or we may have to fix a couple too. Sometimes we like to throw in failing tests just to make you do some work. Make sure you learn where the test folder is.
Yeah, sounds fun.
So, did that actually start? I haven't seen a little pop-up.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Okay, last status message was nothing.
I could pull open this port and see if I get it.
Yeah. You might want to... It's going to be a command box debugging session right now.
Yeah. We're going to have to get Brad on here. We're going to have to tell him we got a problem.
Popped up.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Brad is saved by the bell.
Yeah. Just mention his name.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, this sort of template gives you a little helper section, so it shows you the handlers you have registered, the modules. If you scroll down, you'll see the application test harness too, so it'll give you some of the, where everything is and how to get running with everything, and some actions for executing, and then telling you how to customize it further. So let's click on the runner.cfm that's in there, because that's basically how you run your tests. And so right now you'll see that all our tests are passing. So this is testbox, and this is the browser view. You can also run it from inside of VS Code or in your command line or wherever you want. Command box has a runner as well, so there's some pretty cool commands for that. And then, yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with it, but that's the basics of it. So let's go look at the main handler real quick and show them what a testbox test looks like.
So tests, specs,
and then go to
integration, main spec.
So well documented as usual, trying to give you as much info as you can about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you scroll down, you'll see the BDD tests. And so here you can see we have describe block, which is a closure. Or sorry, describe block, which has a closure. And then basically some it blocks. So it's are sort of your tests. You know, we got to test that the main handler that the home page renders, and basically we expect an event to give us back a certain message.
Yeah.
And so as we build this out, we're going to create all the test files for you. And then the test files are going to run and going to look for a particular model. And so your job would be to make the function in that model work. And so that's sort of the approach I was thinking. What do you think, Michael?
I think that's pretty much perfect. So maybe we just want to start by creating a new test or a new test folder somewhere here in specs, and write out a couple tests for some things we expect to pass. What do you think? And then we'll have to have students, put in write up a model.
Well, let's build a model first.
Because
what I'm thinking is, inside the model we can add the functions that we want. So why don't we use command box to build a model?
Sure. You sound like you don't like test first development.
Well, we could, but the one cool thing I like about the command box create stuff is it'll actually create tests for you. So if you do that and we give it a name, and so we'll just call it CFML challenge. And then
CFML challenge. Open test script. Ooh, do we want to create a test unit test file already, or no?
You actually just take it off and it should do it by default, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So just push enter and we'll see what it does.
You were right.
You have a unit test for you.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. So now what we can do is we can go into the unit test in there, and we can see we have a describe CFML challenge suite.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do is do an it. Yep, so inside the function we'll just do an expect true to be false. That's usually what I do. Yep, true, and then dot to be false.
To be false.
And that's a pretty good failing test right there. So now if we go back to our browser and refresh, we should get a failing test.
Cool.
So another trick is go back to your test, and that was a little confusing to see what the error meant. So inside the to be false, there's usually, if you're not expecting a parameter, the second parameter or the additional parameter is always a message. So in there, put a string.
Oh, in here?
Yep, and so you say, this is not implemented yet, this is meant to make you change it, or something like that. Yep. So save it, and then go run it. And now instead of that ugly message where expected true to be false, you see unimplemented, please change me.
Gavin, how did I not know this?
And so if you want, let's make another test right below that.
Okay.
Or right above it even. Yep, and so instead expect true to be false. We're going to do something else here.
Expect true to be false.
Expect true to be, just expect true to be. And then in there, then we'll do false, comma, and then a message. So if you're expecting something, you can still do a message saying, please fix me, or yeah, something like that. And so that way your weird test where it says expected false to be true actually means something. Expected false to, expected this not to throw an error.
That makes so much more sense, because you can have tons of expectations in a single test. So what I would do before is I would actually create like a whole bunch of it functions. Mm-hmm. And I would try to do a lot of setup so that one thing happens and you have a lot of expectations. And you're like, oh, you're missing this particular key on a struct. That this makes a lot more sense. I'm really surprised I haven't seen this in the docs. So I'm sure I just
it's one of those things where Yeah, and you know, if you wrote the test, you may understand it now. Later, you probably won't. But when you come back, or if somebody else looks at it, this makes it way more useful
Yeah.
for debugging your tests. Obviously, not just for please implement this test, but for everything. So yeah. So if you expect, you know, something to be a struct, you can say, you know,
Yeah.
the return from an API should
Expect
always be a struct. Something
blah.
went wrong. No,
To
exactly.
to be type of struct. I don't know how that works.
We could just be to be struct. That's another helper
Oh,
method too.
okay,
There's
okay.
lots of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I knew that. I don't usually use those for some reason.
Yeah, something like that. The to be struct, to be component, and that's usually what I do first. Is actually do my to be component. So let's put that test at the very top. So on line 29, let's do another test. So
Okay.
do it.
It
Let's say can be initialized.
can be initted.
Yep, well that works too.
Okay.
That's fine.
Oh, oh.
And then
Gotta
so
learn from the
inside that
master here.
function. So what I normally do is I say I expect model, because if you look up above a couple more lines, you see model.init. You see that's where it's actually creating the model, and if on that line 6 it says model equals models.cfml challenge.
Yes.
So testbox does some work to get all this ready for you to test it. So on line 30 we have this, you know, it can be initialized. We expect this model, this component, to be a component. So if you've got any type of problems in that file, any compilation issues or anything else, this will fail. And so even if you don't do any other tests, you could write a test where you just say, hey, I expect that my models can be compiled, which would mean they are to be a component. And now you have some test coverage. So if somebody falls asleep at the keyboard and messes something up, you can at least catch that.
That's awesome, yeah, because that gets you a lot of value for just a single test. You know,
Yep,
pretty much
exactly.
anything you do, you can set this up. You know.
Yeah,
That's
and you can just
know,
copy paste the file and just change the name at the top, and then away you go. So let's save this, reload it real quick, and then I'll show you what happens. So we're gonna run it. Now you see can be initialized as true even though our other tests fail. So now what we can also do is go back to the component and let's break the component and show us that what happens when you make a compilation error.
You want me to break something? I don't know if I can do this.
Change function to something else, or change CFML challenge to something else. Yeah, something like that. Save it.
Shucks.
Then you go run out test, and we should get an error there too. Yep.
Cool.
So missing line feed. And so now that your test will fail because something blew up.
It's better your test failed than your app fails, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of a big. If you put it back to function and then change the return type, because it's actually now. So if you change CF challenge to something else, not even component, just make it some random name where it's not actually a real component name. Yeah. So if you save that, it should give you an exception because it's returning a different type.
Yeah.
So
it's harder to catch. Like if you renamed your component to just CF challenge or something, but it's still CFML challenge here. That's an easy thing to miss. You know, for me.
Before.
that's typically why I like to just use a component return type, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. So yeah. So that's basically it. So let's do some TDD. So let's do a simple one to start with. So I'm going to go to Code Wars and actually steal something.
Ooh.
Because
what you got?
I'm not sure yet. I'm just trying to find something simple here.
Code Warts. I think that's our new name. It's Code Warts.
Maybe. Like I said, I mean, they're great. It's a great tool, and I hope they can add CFML language soon. We can put some ColdFusion stuff in there because it's a great little system, you know. And yeah, even in the sign up, you have to basically fix this problem, right? It's just pretty cool.
It's cool stuff. Yeah, they've got a lot of simple ones here. Multiply. Should we go with something simple? Should we try to find something more, you know, real world? What are you thinking?
Let's see. trying to find something we can just add in quickly. So I should have done this before. Didn't think about it. I'm wondering which ones I've done before here. I think this one's an easy one. Let's just do this one. It's called reverse strings. It's pretty simple. You're going to have a function that basically reverses the strings. And so if we pass in something, it'll give us the opposite. So
First
pretty
strings,
simple.
Okay.
So let's go TDD style. So we're going to go into the CFML challenge test and write a test for this.
Okay.
So in here, we're going to get rid of one of these.
I'm going to get rid of both just because.
Okay, so we're going to have, so under our it, we're going to have, let's see, trying to think of what we should do. So a lot of times I like using a little more detailed tests too. So
gotcha.
What we can actually do is run where we have scenario. So instead of it, let's do scenario.
Ooh, okay. I haven't done this style. Okay.
Yep. So scenario, we'll say reverse strings challenge. Yep. Okay. So inside there we can say. So I like scenario given when then.
Gotcha.
Basically. So.
Yep.
Yep. So we can do given.
When? I don't know. I'm not sure how that. No, maybe not the dots. Yep. Sorry.
That's okay.
I have not used this style, so you're schooling me, Gavin. Already.
Okay, so inside the given, given the CFML challenge component exists.
Would we use a closure?
Then, yep, that's a closure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and then inside that you'll have when.
Oh. Okay.
When I pass in a string.
Yeah.
Then, yep, I'm gonna do a closure. Yep, and then I will get the reverse of the string.
I will return.
Yeah, I will return the reverse of the string.
Okay.
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 Okay, so you can get rid of the double ones there. So then inside there you can do expect. So let's write a little expect in here. So expect model dot. Yep, you can leave the component one in there. That's good. Yep, and then so you do. Well, I guess we can make some more specific ones here too. So, so what I'll do is do expect struct key exists. So instead of model, do struct key
exists, and then I'm thinking model and then a struct key.
Yep. So we'll call it reverse string.
Reverse string. So you're essentially testing that this has the function defined.
Yep.
In that model.
To be true.
Gotcha.
So do to be true on the inside of two quotes. And
should have reverse string function.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool. I'm reading your mind, Gavin.
Yep. And then we can say expect model dot reverse string.
Reverse string.
And then is there a to be function? I'm not sure there's a to be function. Let's find out, huh?
Yeah, we'll find out. You want me to
So
run
here,
this? Or no?
yeah, let's run it. Let's see what it does. Because we're TDDing out TDD. So given that when I pass in a string, I will return the reverse of the string. So why are those two gray?
Are they skipped? Yeah, they're
Maybe.
skipped.
Click on the CFML challenge suite at the top of the.
Okay,
I think you must have selected one
go.
specifically. So click there.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's right. I only ran. If you click one of these, you only run like one or something.
Yeah. So you need to click the top one to run everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got an error because it should have a reverse string function, and we don't. Which is good. So let's go back in here. So let's say scenario given, and so let's add a win in here. So let's copy this win down and let's just make a new one, because I think we should change this a little bit.
Okay.
So instead of so leave this one alone. Let's change the one above.
Sure.
When I call reverse string, then the function will exist in the model or something. Yeah. So then we have that one sort of checks, okay, do you have the function, etc. Gotcha. Then the next set of tests, we can actually test that the functionality behaves as it should.
Gotcha.
Okay.
The behavior of the function. Okay, sure.
So what we should also do, so inside that next one, so when I pass in a string, I'll return the reverse of the string. So let's write a couple of tests here. So here, let's do an array.
Var.
So var array, yeah, my values equals. Yep, and inside of that, let's have a struct. We should do a series of structs. So we should have two strings. So we'll do input equals blah, output equals blah. So let's just write a whole bunch of strings, and then basically we can loop through them, expecting each one to be the opposite. So output would be ALB, for example.
Yeah.
Something like that. You could probably do a one-liners to make it easier too, or something.
Yeah.
It's up to you on that. But let's just put a few in there.
Cat, attack, dog would be God. I'm not sure if that's blasphemous. Let me try. Gavin Gavin. Do you know how to spell your name backwards? It's Nivag.
Nivag. Yep. Exactly.
And then Michael. I don't even want to think about it. Is Leah H. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do capitals even. I'm not gonna think
so
about
then
it.
what
Anyways.
we'll do is we'll loop. So we can do
for var row in or var set. I don't know. Var value set in my values.
Then we can do an expect.
Model
and then do
reverse string.
Input
value set dot input.
Yep.
Dot to be value set dot output. Is that what you're thinking?
Comma. Then do a comma, and then do a error message.
Oh yes.
So we'll say, and that we'll say, should return. Value set dot output when blah 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 is passed into reverse string.
Oh yes. When
then
value set dot input is passed
into reverse function or something. Yeah. So now we should be able to save that and run that, and we should get a whole bunch of errors, hopefully.
Yeah. Ooh, not that many errors.
Ooh. So we have some
one too many.
missing.
We should have had a test for our test, Gavin. What are we gonna
Yeah.
do? Yeah, I messed something up
I
here.
wonder if the
Yeah, I missed a... There's our two. No.
no, you need an extra parenthesis before the to be, because you've got two openings
Yes,
and only
okay.
one close.
Yeah.
You need that rainbow indent and the rainbow brackets.
You're gonna make me install another extension?
No,
This
you
is
don't
gonna
have to
take
do it
too
right
long.
now.
No, I should though. Rainbow template?
Not template. No, we
Right,
want
there
the
we go.
rainbow brackets and the rainbow brackets.
I saw the episode where you talked about this, and I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
indenting
know.
is nice, but that rainbow brackets one will actually make the parentheses different too.
Oh, okay.
That's even better.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now you can see they line up. See?
So many colors. I might have to actually drop that indent rainbow one. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's still nice, I guess.
It's, trust me, on the big files, it's helpful. So you want to go back and let's run the test now. We'll see if they throw us out.
Okay.
Okay, so it actually throws an error, see, there's a difference between a failure of a test and an error. And it's actually erroring because it can't even call the function. So now we can do some TDD and go add the function and just not return anything and then see what happens. So this is TDD at its best here. So you go to CFML challenge, we can add a function. So our function reverse string. And that's it. Let's run that and see what happens.
Okay, gotcha.
And theoretically, we should have been doing that as we went, so we'd get. Oh, we got a Stack Overflow.
That's fun.
So let's just return an empty string at least for now. Still got Stack Overflow error.
To be.
Function. To be function not there.
Yeah, so it doesn't not there.
See, I was being hopeful.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we can take the to be function out.
To be.
Just what we can do here is expect. Yeah, we can expect something here. So below it, do expect, and inside the expect, do a closure. So function. So function.
Okay.
Parentheses closure, and then inside of that we're going to do model.reverse string, and then call with parentheses, and then close curly, and then expect that to not throw. And so if you're going to run something that's going to throw, this wrapping in a function and doing the not throw or to throw is a good way to test for that.
Okay.
So let's see.
Interesting.
So we still got. What's going on here?
Stack Overflow error.
Do we kill the entire server? Sometimes that happens too.
I don't know.
If you get a couple of Stack Overflows, sometimes you just want to restart command box server.
Yeah. I don't know. It does not want to execute our function, that's for sure.
Okay, well, yeah, just comment that one out for now. See if it makes a difference. Still a Stack Overflow.
Okay. Something interesting. I wonder if this latest version of Lucy doesn't like those empty functions. Because if when I drop this, I've got an extra empty function too.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe like return hi. Does it throw anything there? Oh, it still does.
Stack Overflow.
It's weird.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that worked. I thought I'd done that before.
Okay. Well,
interesting.
Drop it for now. Okay. So we're on
Anyways.
to the implementation of the string reverse function.
Okay, so let's go back to our code. Let's add a couple more features. And so let's go to CFML challenge here.
Mhm.
And we should also put a required string so we can actually test to make
Yep.
sure.
No argument required string input.
Yep.
Okay.
That's fine. Yep. And so what we can do now in our test, we can write a test saying that if we call reverse string without something, we expect it to throw. But,
so you want a new scenario?
yeah, above this one here, I would say when I fail to pass in a parameter, then I expect an error. And we could also have it, when I fail to pass in a string, so that way if we pass in an array or anything else, we could do that.
Gotcha. Are you talking a different test or just looks like just the same one? Okay.
Yep. So just to expect, and then so function. See if this works this time. Don't have a space between the. Well, it shouldn't matter, but it might. I don't know. So function.reverse string. So inside that, then dot to throw. Yeah. So inside the reverse string, we should get it to throw, and you can also pass in a struct and pass in an array, and they should all throw. And then we expect if you pass in a string that it doesn't throw. So yeah, throw an error because we passed no parameters or arguments. Yep. And then do the same, copy paste, and we'll pass in an empty struct or something, an empty array.
Because it's an invalid argument type.
Yep.
See what happens. Ooh. It threw. Different than you expected a Rams type equals.
Oh, that's right. So, if you're on the throws, you actually have different parameters. So you should actually put message equals there.
Okay.
I think. Try message equals.
Mm-hmm.
But that also might be the error message. So let me look it up because I know that with a to throw, it threw me off because there's more options.
No, it definitely passed.
Oh, it passed that time?
Definitely passed. Yep.
Okay.
So you're right, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so then put not to throw and see if the message shows up.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go. So, yeah, you have to pass the message. The cool thing is that instead of just throwing an error, you can have it look for a particular type of error. So if you do type equals, you can actually look for that type. So that's good that if you pass something, you can give a specific type.
I don't know what type of error that would be in an argument error.
Yeah, I mean, not on that one, but if you have your own custom errors that you throw, you can check to make sure it's throwing the right type.
Yes, gotcha.
Okay, so now that's not throwing. Now, why don't we put a string one in there right below those expects? So let's add one more expect for expect function model to reverse string, actually passing a string, not to throw.
Cat to not throw.
Whoop. So yeah, so make that not to throw and make those other ones to throw.
Yeah, I confused myself. Sorry. To throw, okay. Not to throw. Should not throw error.
And you could make that your own then, or your own when and then, but I like to just put the reverse in there because it makes sense.
Gotcha.
So it's up to you. Yep, so save that one, and we'll try it again.
What? I have so many colors here. I'm losing my mind.
So now, what they say in true TDD is what you should do is try and get to the next error. So instead of returning an empty string, let's just return ALB from L. So just return ALB. No, not there. There. So just if you return ALB, now that test will pass, right?
One of them, yes.
So now we'll see what the next one is. Okay, so you can't get away with just that.
Yeah. Not the way we wrote it.
Yeah.
Because it fails basically on at least for that particular scenario, it fails on the first expectation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now we can try and write it to complete it. Do we want to do that, or should we leave this as a challenge that they can actually do?
Maybe we just want to leave one? I don't know, what do you think? Leave one that they can see or not? Or just leave it blank. I don't know, it's up to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's come up on 5 my time, so 8 your time.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good place to stop for now, and
Sure.
then we can look at the next piece. Because obviously after this, we want to look at publishing it to Forgebox, so that way it makes it easy for someone to get it and get started.
Yeah.
But we do need to think about going forward. Do we want them to create just new functions inside the CFML challenge, or do we want them to create their own models for each one? You know, how should we update it going forward, etc.
Yeah.
So
no,
there's a few more things we definitely want to add.
I don't know. And I see we get a comment from James Moberg. Would reverse string work with emojis? Hi, ASCII.
That's a good question too. And so that's the thing with this reverse string. Our tests need to cover it. So depending on how good your tests are in this, it could be an interesting. Yeah, so James has got some good ideas here for using Lucy only UDF for list to array, reverse, and then array to list, because that works with strings.
Yeah.
So if we want, let's just copy. You want to copy and paste this one in?
Sure.
And see if. And we can, if you want, you can make those emojis part of the test suite.
Yeah, I should. Because if you just pass in the same 3 characters, you should get the same 3 characters back. Which is a perfect way to write a bad test, right? We're going to have to talk about what is a good test and what is a bad test. Because array to list to array. Dot reverse. Oh, okay. Interesting. Says it's not high ASCII friendly. I think reversing strings will only work with basic ASCII 7 strings. Okay.
So let's run the test and see if this works for our little test suite for the emojis.
No, wrong. So we're gonna use parameter name input. Let me try this again. Ooh.
Just pass.
It worked. It worked. Okay, so let's try writing
adding another one here.
Yeah, add another test with emojis, and I'm just gonna put a checkbox, a smiley face, and an octopus, because that's very important. So here goes octopus, smiley face, and checkbox. Looks right to me.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah,
nice.
So let's see, what does it look like here?
What does what look like?
Because it broke them up into individual byte characters, like James said.
Okay, gotcha.
The double bits were, so they're arranged as 2-bit pieces. So they had, so we'd have to actually break them up into more individual ones.
So they're multi-byte characters or multi-bit characters, something like that.
Well, it actually, rearranged every character. So instead of, we needed to group the 2s together, So interesting. So obviously that could be something where we come out with an advanced version of it. And it's like, can you support, when I pass in a high ASCII code, it still supports it. And so for that, you'd have to handle the string differently. You'd have to have, So that would be one of those. Code Wars, they have different levels. And so that would be a higher level reverse strings with high ASCII support.
Level
so that's
2,
something we could do.
Level 2. Obviously, James has got level 1 down. Probably better than I do. No, I think I could
So
probably
yeah,
figure it out.
so again, that's a simple function, just reversing strings.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about Code Wars, for those who would like to look at the Java, so it's a little different. But once you've completed it, you can see everybody else's solutions. And so our idea with this too is we want to build some way later to be able to submit your code via like a gist or something into GitHub, so we can actually check and paths.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so this is the base outline for what I was thinking. We just need to figure out how we want to package it up. And like I said, I'd like to have it when they do get the test passing to be able to sort of submit that week. And so I'm not sure if we'll have a ColdFusion view that we can actually have it run just that test suite. And then when it's done, it lets you click a button to tweet saying, "Hey, I finished," and then post your code to somewhere.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That way, it's not quite the same, but close.
Yep. It's it sounds great, Gavin. We're doing pretty good so far, I think. I'm probably gonna back that this back out just so people can solve it themselves. Write up a couple comments.
We should probably remove the function as well. Make it so they have to add it or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or we could leave it there. I guess it's not a big deal. Or make the function but don't add the requirements in, so that way, something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'm not
in
sure.
The Code Wars, it starts with a function, and it has a name, so that way they at least get the name right.
Gotcha.
So maybe do that, and then put input or something. I guess it doesn't have to.
Please implement a reverse string function and see tests for more, I don't know, and run tests until they pass.
So James was also talking about working with right to left text recently, and he notes that a pound emoji calls CF to error too, unless you use CF content to assign it to a variable. Interesting. So
that is very interesting. I wonder if you could submit that through a comment form, and I wonder what would happen if you submit that through a comment form. If from what he's saying,
yeah. See if they've got good error handling.
Yeah.
But that's for ACF only.
Gotcha.
Doesn't throw up. So yeah, but I think that's a good start. Hopefully people have learned a little bit for what we're doing here and stuff. And so same time next week, and let's try and build up on top of it, huh?
Same time, same channel. Thank you very much, Gavin, for doing this. This has been fun. I've definitely learned a couple new tricks on TestBox, so I'm happy about that. And next week you're gonna have to come up with something new to teach me, because I already know what you told me this week. So
yeah, I see Matt Clemente's in there too. So he just said, "Nice stuff, guys." So cool. Glad you could watch too, Matt.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun, and then we can have we can all contribute and add more challenges and stuff too, because it's pretty fun. I like this type of stuff. I really like the JavaScript ones.
Yeah. Yep. I think we can beat the JavaScript ones.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, it's fun. I mean, if Code Wars does add ColdFusion, it'd be nice to do it there, because you have leaderboards, you earn points, and we could just convert a lot of the existing challenges over. But
yeah, and a lot of them are pretty simple too. If we had like some sort of CI set up, so when someone submits some to, I don't know, some open source repo, probably, I wonder, I don't know, but the new GitHub Actions continuous integration stuff, if it's like free for open source, but they may just we may be able to get some free CI builds from them essentially. So anytime they submit, we it builds and runs and sees if they're
GitHub builds is good. Bitbucket has free builds too. A lot of places are doing free builds now. We can definitely do something there. So I'll brainstorm a little bit. We'll talk during the week about the best way to make it upgradable, so we can easily just bump the version of the app and you get the new test challenges and everything.
Gotcha.
And we'll go from there. Or maybe we have a little API that allows people like pick the challenge and then click a button to download download something or add it to their test suite or something. Let's try and make it a little more interactive. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And as we build it, you get to watch and learn. And then the cool thing too is maybe after the coding challenge is done, we could, come online and show them how we would solve it, and we could have different approaches to it too, because that's what I like the most, is seeing how other people do it. At our JavaScript group, we all sort of do it together, and just like everyone throws out different ideas, and
Gotcha.
it's fun.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Cool.
All right,
Well,
I think
thanks
I am
for having
going
me,
to.
and thanks for following, everybody.
Yep. Thank you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Gavin.
No problem. Have a good one.